Hello and welcome back to Focus Atlanta. Thanks so much for watching. In our last segment, we're going to speak with author John Stephen Welch. John, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
When people are talking about banning books and what I feel like is censorship, it seems so crazy to me that our kids don't have the opportunity to read what they want to read. Tell me a little bit about why this is an important issue for you.
Well, I believe that that books transport readers to different experiences and into different insights. And for young people, it's like them visiting different worlds, learning about people and places and things and situations in life that may not be a part of their world, but that can bring them a great deal of knowledge and insight about life. So I think that it's very, very important that kids and actually everyone has access to the widest possible range of literatures.
Absolutely. I gotta, immediately when I think of banned books and what, certain cities and states are doing, I think of my childhood, right? And I think of all the things that I will never experience, but I got to read about, and it made me feel like I was experiencing it, or it made me feel like I counted. It made me feel seen in a lot of situations. And many times, when you ban a book, you're stripping that from children. What do you think we as a community need to do to make sure that our kids have the opportunity to see a variety of different places and things and experiences through literature?
Well, I think that one of the most important things that we can all do is to impress upon our fellow citizens that education is really about broadening the mind and broadening one's experience. And really, when you educate, it's not just about the subjects that you teach, it's about teaching people how to learn for the rest of their lives. And books are so central to that endeavor because it opens the mind in a way that educates the reader about how they can be lifelong learners, how they can experience something that is so removed from their world, and yet it becomes a part of them. It becomes a part of their world. So I think we have to impress upon people that reading and education is a very broad gauge way of learning, and it's really central to broadening and developing the mind.
I've always wondered, when I read some of my favorite authors, so I'm going to ask you, since I never get to talk to them, who were you writing for? Were you writing for yourself? Were you writing for you when you were younger? Are you writing for this generation? Who are you speaking to? Or who, when you get to that point, when you put the pen to paper, who are you talking to?
Well, this book really is speaking to audiences that span the spectrum, because it's a book about a young gay Black kid who's growing up in Washington, D.C. with a loving but illiterate father. And his experiences are pretty anomalous and pretty unexpected. But I think that I wrote the book because I felt that it could be enlightening and meaningful and really resonate with all different types of audiences, kids who might be gay and who are growing up, of course, older adults who may know very little about what that experience is like. Yeah. It could be for people who are older themselves and had some of those experiences, but not all of them. And so, it really is an attempt to share with the broadest possible audience this kid's life and how meaningful it was to him, and how his journey shaped his world and
Wow.
his accomplishments.
Well, I just thank you. I wanted to have you on the show just to thank you. Thank you for, writing to everyone, writing to people who don't feel like they're seen sometimes. That's what's
Yes.
important, when I think about the work that you do. But it was a pleasure to meet you.
Well, it's such a pleasure to meet you, and thank you so much for having me on and giving me this opportunity to share the book with your audience.
Absolutely. All right, guys, you have the website there. Please take the opportunity to learn a little more. Get the book for yourself or maybe a family member, somebody somebody, who needs to feel seen. This might be the book for them. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Focus Atlanta. I hope to see you next Sunday here on WEPA.